What's up, guys? Prep for Life here, doing a quick EDC update video. I haven't done one in a while, and so I have made some changes to my EDC that I figured, those of you who are interested in EDC updates might want to see. So we'll start up at the top left, and we'll work our way across. So, the top left, we've got the Smith & Wesson military and police pen. This is a pen that I've been EDCing for a while. Only complaints are, there's only one complaint. Only complaint is the retention cap in there. I don't know if you can see that. You see that crack in there? And what happens is it causes the head to be pretty wobbly. Now it still has pretty good retention, but I just don't like the fact that it wobbles. I'm afraid it's going to come off in my pocket one day. So, but it hasn't yet. I'd really prefer the screw cap, and they actually do have that available. It's just one of their other pens, and I liked the way this one looked a little bit better. This is another Fisher pen. It uses the Fisher Space Pen cartridge. Not quite as durable as the other two pens that I carry, but it does come in handy, especially if I'm wearing a nice jacket or something. I can slide this into the pocket, and whenever I pull it out, I don't look like I'm about to shank somebody. So, this is a pretty nice little pen. I just recently got it, and I'm hoping that it'll hold up to some wear and tear and some abuse. One of my other favorites is the Fisher Space Pen here. Very nice. Most of you probably are familiar with this pen. It's a pretty popular EDC pen just because of its size, and I'm still loving it. I usually carry this pen, but sometimes I'll rotate this Fisher Space Pen in, and then occasionally I'll rotate in this other Fisher pen. So, Carmex. I rave and rave and rave about Carmex in all my videos. I think Carmex is one of the best inventions on the planet. I carry it with me everywhere I go. I buy it in bulk from, our local Costco or Sam's, whichever one's got it. So it's awesome. I don't need to go into details about that. The Fenix E11. This is my favorite EDC light. I just recently, within the last month or two, picked this up at a gun show. I did a first impressions video on it, and I raved about it, and I will continue to do so. I think it's fantastic. It's got a nice little clicky cap on the top. Single mode whenever you're just accessing the cap, but you have a high mode by twisting the bezel, and that gives you high, and so you can see the differences in the low. It's 35 lumens on low and 105 lumens on high. And I can't remember the details right off the top of my head, but it's like 7 hours or 8 hours on low with one AA. I think it's fantastic. I think that's the perfect amount of time for, to have a AA celled flashlight, a single AA cell flashlight, because you don't want something that has a super low runtime. Because how often are you going to try to remember to change the batteries? It'll end up dying on you while you're using it, which would suck. Depending on what I'm doing or where I'm going, sometimes I will EDC a bigger flashlight, especially in the wintertime, and I have a big jacket on and it's easy to conceal. Now this is just for reference. This isn't actually the only flashlight I'll also EDC, but this Fenix E11, you'll find me carrying a lot also, along with the Fenix LD20, just because it's such a handy light. I like this one because it only allows you to access one mode with the clicky cap, and then once again by twisting the bezel it gives you high, which is 154 lumens. So pretty rockin' little flashlight. LD20 is just as awesome, if not actually more awesome, but I just thought I'd toss that in there. Benchmade Griptilian. One of my favorite knives. It's pretty nice. I like the lock back, or the axis lock, or whatever this is called. it took me a little while to get used to it, but now that I've been playing with it, by the way, I'm left-handed, so this is a little difficult for me. But it's been holding up pretty good. I really like it. And I know somebody's going to comment on the fact that I have these clips on opposite sides of the knives, and that's strictly because I was too lazy to take it off and put it on the other side. There's no other reason than that. I could say that, oh yeah, well, it's because I carry one as my primary knife and one as my backup knife, so I've got one on each side, but I'd be lying to you. I really just haven't changed the clips over because I'm lazy. I'll get around to it one day, but I'll be honest, I don't plan on using my knife in a tactical situation, so I don't see any reason for it to need to be deployed super fast. My keys. Haven't made a whole lot of changes to the keys. I still have the 4 gig, I can't, PMC or something, I can't remember. It's a 4 gig thumb drive. It is pretty handy. I keep a lot of personal files on here encrypted, and it seems to be holding up pretty good because I've used my keys a lot. So one of the other things I've added actually is this carabiner. I don't know if you remember, or if y'all watched my other video, I made this little, what I called like a rattler lanyard, and it's a nice lanyard, but the issue is that this cord gets caught on everything. I mean, I'll get in my car, I'll take the keys out of the ignition, I'll pull it back, and it'll get caught on the e-brake every time, and it's very frustrating. It gets caught in the door, it gets caught everywhere. It's very frustrating, so I decided I was going to switch back to a carabiner, but I wanted a high quality carabiner, so it's taken me a while to find one that is the right size, because I have other carabiners, but the issue is they're both very, I mean, all my climbing carabiners are very, very big. You know, I've got this carabiner, which I keep on my EDC bag. It's nice because it locks, but the problem is, once again, it's huge. And I've got this silver one, which is basically the same size. I like the fact that it's got the quick access. However, once again, it's really, really big. So I found this small carabiner, and it fits very nicely, and I can clip it to my belt if I need to, which I don't normally do. But sometimes I'm just running out to the car or something, and I get my hands full, so it allows me to just clip it to my belt and go on about my day. So, let's see, what else have we talked about? Oh, this Leatherman Squirt PS4. That is one of my newer multi-tools I've been carrying on my bag. I really like it. My only issue with it is the fact that whenever I want to use the multi-tool, I want it to come off the keys. I don't usually like to have to hold the whole set of keys whenever I'm trying to use the scissors or the knife. And then you gotta, you know, take it off the split ring, and it's a big pain in the ass. So I'm probably going to go back to my Leatherman CS4, which is, if you're not familiar with this, just has the big scissors on it. And then it has the, let's see, how do I access it? The blade. And then right here, it's got some tweezers. And then it's got the file slash, I use it as a nail cleaner. I've seen people say that, or heard people say that you can use it as a screwdriver, but with how long that is, it wouldn't take much to torque that off and break it, so I don't really use it for that. But my favorite tool is the carabiner clip that is a bottle opener. But the purpose of this is the fact that I like that I can clip it to my keys super easy, and then take it off my keys super easy. And I really, if they could incorporate this somehow into the Leatherman Squirt, I'd be in heaven. So, still rocking the paracord bracelet. I have lots of bracelets that I wear. I've got them in all different colors. I've got them in red, blue, green. These are just a couple that I grabbed. Really, really like them. Pretty handy. I cut a bracelet off about once a month because I'll find myself in a situation where I need some rope, and so I'll just cut the bracelet off my wrist and use it. So then I just make another one and replace it. Down here I've got the Casio G-Shock. It is the, what is it? It's the GDF 100. This is one of my newer watches that my wonderful girlfriend just got me. Sorry. Let's see if we can get this up and looking. There we go. So that's it. It's a pretty nice little watch. It's got the altimeter, barometer, thermometer. It's got your basic alarms and stopwatch and countdown. It also has a world clock on it, which I really like because most of my family travels a lot, so it allows me to flip to whatever time zone they're in just to make sure I'm not going to disturb them when they're sleeping or wake them up or anything. So it's a pretty handy little watch. Back over here. Actually, I forgot one thing up here. I always wear my Oakley flak jackets that my girlfriend bought me, and they're getting a little beat up, so I'm trying to take a little bit better care of them and by keeping them in the case. The only downside with that is I always tend to forget them before I leave the house because I'm not used to them being in there yet. Maxpedition Spartan wallet. One of my newer wallets. Really digging it. It's got this nice mesh lining in the back. Holds, I don't know what you would use this for. I like it because I can stick my ID back there because I'm 22, so I still get carded a lot. But it holds my license and my CHL. So I really like the fact that I can easily access them, yet the retention is still there. I don't have to worry about them coming out. Inside, I got my debit card. Yes, I am a Starbucks Gold card holder. Very proud of it. It's got a lot of pockets, which is pretty cool. It's got pockets everywhere. And actually in here I keep another tool that I hardly use, but I do use the bottle opener a lot. And it's got all kinds of little tools on here. Kind of heavy, kind of bulky. I don't know if it's worth it yet, but this Maxpedition Spartan makes everything so comfortable I don't really even notice that it's in there. And then the last but not least, one of the tools I keep in here is another Fisher Space Pen. It's called the Tagalong, I think, and it's very, very small, like width-wise, if you compare it to the Fisher Space Pen. And it's nice because you could really stick this in any wallet. And so I just line it up with the crease, and I just stick it in there and push down until it hits the bottom, and then fold up my wallet. And it's cool because I'm not perfect. I try to EDC this stuff every day, but the issue is if I'm in a hurry and I didn't empty all my pockets out in the same place, I will forget something. So it's nice to have a backup pen to one of my primary pens over here. And last but not least, my concealed carry firearm. This is the Keltec PF9. It gets a lot of use. I really, really like this firearm. I used to carry the Springfield XD9 subcompact, but the issue is that I'm just a very skinny guy, so trying to conceal something that size was very difficult. It does have the Crimson Trace laser grips on it, along with the Hogue grip. I did buy this gun used, but I've torn it apart and replaced what's needed to be replaced, and also oiled everything down and checked everything. I believe these sights are driftable. I've never really messed with the sights all that much because I don't really plan on using this for long range. It seems to be pretty accurate the way it comes anyways, though. The slide was in pretty rough condition. I'm sorry, the barrel. And so I took a Dremel with a polisher to it and polished it down real nice, so it looks a lot better now. But it seems to be holding up okay. I really wish I could find a better holster for this because I am left-handed. This one's pretty comfortable, but I can tell the retention is really starting to slip. It's just getting stretched out. And it's just one of those cheap nylon holsters that I bought when I bought the gun. So it's a nice gun though. I really love it, and I highly recommend it if you're a small guy. You know, it makes it very simple to conceal. It's very comfortable. You hardly know it's there. My issue is that I used to think that I needed a gun that held a lot of rounds, you know, like a Glock 26, Glock 27, XD9 subcompact, XD40 subcompact, you know, something that held a lot. And I've just come to find that, you know, as Nothing Fancy would say, the size and weight constraint, you know, really kept me from carrying it because it was so bulky and heavy and difficult to conceal. I found myself not ever carrying it, and you know, what's the point of that? You know, why carry a gun that has a lot of rounds if you never actually have it with you, as opposed to having a gun that carries, you know, 7+1 and have it with you every day. Not to mention the fact that the mag is actually pretty super light and small. As you can see, it's not much bigger than any of the other things that I carry. I just toss this in my pocket, and now I have 14 rounds, or 15 rounds. So this is my EDC. This is my pocket EDC. I mean, I still have my EDC backpack, and after I figure out what all I want to put in and take out of that, I'll add some more stuff. But this is it so far. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment or a PM, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.